Welcome back to Homeopathy at Home with Melissa. Hey, Melissa.
Hey Bree, excited to talk with you tonight.
Yeah, me too. Tonight is number 8 in our
Mm-hmm.
encouragement series. For you listening, it's probably, well, I don't know, maybe morning. Usually they're released in the morning. Whatever time of day, join us for number 8 of our encouragement series. If you have not listened to the other 7, go back and do that. You don't have to do them in order, but these were born out of honestly, God just showing me a lot of things in my own life. And as I was learning or beginning my journey in the homeopathy world, specifically doing consults, I think was when it all started. God started showing me these parallels between principles that I was seeing in homeopathy and my spiritual walk. So we're not trying to link this to biblical truth, or, well, we are, not homeopathy. I mean, we're not trying to elevate it, excuse me, but just like anything else, I feel like God very often uses a role in our life or some other thing to reveal some truth to us. So these are just some of those points. This is number 8 of 10 that I shared at our retreat last year.
Hmm.
And so we're just going through them
Yeah.
slowly over this year.
So at the end, we will read some fan mail. So y'all stick around for that.
Yeah. Okay. These are fun. So fan mail is questions people send in.
Yep. So when you're in, when you're on the podcast, there's a link that says send me a message. Um, and then you can just click the link and you type in your message and I get it. It's like a text.
Okay. So we're going to go over fan mail. We've done a few of them. Um, So we'll do that at the end. This won't be super long, but number 8, let's do it.
All
Um,
right.
topic tonight is facing uncomfortable symptoms. Homeopathy sometimes, especially when we're talking about chronic issues here, brings out uncomfortable symptoms. That does not mean bad, or they're not even always negative. I think very often we confuse, and we'll probably get more into this, we confuse discomfort with bad or painful or negativity. And very often, what I've seen is, especially even in emotional symptoms or physical ones, discomfort, uncomfortable symptoms are often really good signs of movement and healing. These can be genetically inherited when we're talking physical, like homeopathy, and you're talking about chronic conditions. They could be previously suppressed symptoms, which is why it's uncomfortable for them to surface. They can be emotional or physical, but they are a necessary part of the healing process. Not just a tolerated part, but a necessary thing. And so when I've seen that in practice, in the same way in my spiritual walk or in ours, very often God may bring to light uncomfortable issues that we need to address. And those things that are brought to the surface are not always pleasant, but they are necessary for growth and for healing. I think in my life, they've sometimes been sin that I've been blind to. And so being kind of blindsided by something deep in my heart is, catches me off guard, and I don't love that. Maybe unforgiveness we haven't walked through and are avoiding, also been there, or habits we need to change. I mean, lots of stuff. It could be so many things. So our first response is very often to resist those coming to light because they're uncomfortable, or because they're disruptive to the way that we're doing life. We're very comfortable here, and they might be painful. But leaning into those difficult areas and working through them, just like in homeopathy, we say we're not stopping the process. We are moving all the way through the process of healing. In your spiritual life, in your spirit, it's necessary to work them out, work through them for your growth. Even if, knowing God more deeply and looking more like Christ requires that process. And we can face them with courage, trusting in God's healing power, and stay the course. Like we say that all the time. Just stay the course. Trust in God, trust in his promises for you, his care for you. The scripture here that I thought went along with this maybe is Ephesians 5, verses 11 through 13. Do not participate in the unfruitful deeds of darkness, but instead even expose them. For it's disgraceful even to speak of the things which are done by them in secret. But all things become visible when they are exposed by the light, for everything that becomes visible is light. Um, so I love there. I was connecting there that when you leave something deep and dark, when we have sin that is hidden, it becomes isolating, destructive, shameful. It does not bring healing, and bringing them to the light, bringing them to the surface, however uncomfortable, takes away that power and gives us the opportunity to move it into the light. So, and replace it. What are your thoughts on that, Melissa?
I love it. So, so one thing that you just said is that discomfort, essentially what you said is discomfort equals growth.
Mm,
That's not what you said, but that's what, essentially when we get into uncomfortable things. So yes, in homeopathy or in your spiritual walk or just in maturing in this life, you we have, you've heard the term growing pains,
right. Do you
right?
think that, like, when we're taught in the Western medicine world, like a symptom, we feel it and we want to squash it. We want it to go away, and the symptom goes away. We think we're good. Um, I do feel like we want to do that with um with our, sorry, I don't know if you can hear all that craziness out there with the dogs. Okay, great. So we want to do the same thing, I think, in our spiritual life, that but I think the discomfort can be an opportunity for growth, but I don't think we always take them. It's very easy to do the band-aid. Like, I'm going to deal with that later. Or
Yeah,
something else will keep bringing it up and keep triggering that opportunity, and we resist because it's uncomfortable
yeah,
or shameful, or, I mean,
yeah. I think it's just natural to want to avoid discomfort. That's natural. But when we run from the growth, whether, in all the aspects of life, and so let's just say in homeopathy right now, when you, okay, first of all, please don't hear us say that you have to get worse before you get better, or that you have to, that's not always true. But if you're thinking about a flu, we're not giving the homeopathic remedy to shut down the symptoms. You're
mhm,
still going to move through that condition easier and faster than if you didn't have homeopathy, and than if you didn't use it. And it also, in the process, does not suppress any conditions. It strengthens your immune system, sets you up for better future health. So, in the same way, when we are on our spiritual walk, um, if we're never uncomfortable, you're probably not growing.
not getting deep in there,
Well,
Okay,
think about the really uncomfortable um conversation that you have to have with someone. The conflict.
hmm
If we never have conflict and we never have to have hard conversations with people, then we get to stay in our nice little simple easy box, and but then you don't grow. If I
well,
had
and
never had to have these hard conversations, I would have never grown. How do you learn
yeah,
to do
yeah. That it reminds me of the iron sharpens iron verse, just
it?
that analogy. The analogy
Mm-hmm.
of, it doesn't, like, you have to experience friction
Mm. Yeah.
to sharpen something. Like, when you think about sharpening anything,
Mm-hmm.
you can use that friction to dull it, right? Like, the
Mm-hmm.
friction itself is not the fixer, but what do you do with that? Are you
Yeah.
using it in a way that sharpens? Sorry, I'm so itchy today. Um, and that also, there was something else, I didn't lose it. Oh, okay. An example. This was one that came to mind actually. very frequently when I think about discomfort. I had a client who has a lot of suppressed emotions in the past. And a follow-up, she was discussing how anxiety was good. She felt very even, but she had noticed like a commercial came on and she cried. And she was very caught off guard. She's like, I don't cry. I don't, I never have a problem with that. So she was really uncomfortable feeling emotion. She wasn't bawling her eyes out, depressed. I mean, this was not anything crazy. She was just feeling that emotion and wanting to, and there was a couple other instances that she mentioned where there was, those types of things, and we talked about that. Well, years of this suppressed emotion, you are uncomfortable crying, but that is not a bad thing. Crying is not a bad thing. It doesn't even mean you're sad. You might just be needing to release anything, right? And we just have such a distorted view of comfort, which you mentioned early before, like seeking something about seeking comfort.
Yeah. So seeking comfort is really just running from reality. So God doesn't promise us ease, right? He promises us that we're going to go through trials and tribulations, and but that he also promises that he'll be there with us. So he walks through it with
Right.
us. And in homeopathy, if you just like the example of the flu, okay, so you might start coughing more. Your fever might go up. You might start producing more mucus. These are all good signs that the things are coming out. We got to get it out to get rid of it, right? To so that we're not suppressing it and it's uncomfortable. But
Yep.
we're thinking future. I say this all the time. Our goal is we're looking at future long-term health, not
Yep.
short-term gratification. Not what
Hmm.
can I do to feel better right now because I have a baseball game tomorrow. I'm sorry, you need to rest.
Right. It is really hard.
It
It's
is.
really hard. So, I mean, we say this all the time, but we know, I mean, both of us have lived the realities of that, of the homeopathy version and the life version, the spiritual version we're talking about. Um, so I said last, I think if you listened to the last one, that knowing I wrote this like a year ago is really ministering to me again and got the same stuff. I mean, it's just life. You just recycle through these same things. So I have needed to hear these, and it's true. Uncomfortable things are good opportunities for growth. I want to move through them. I don't want to push it in, or avoid it. Or truly, I don't think we ever avoid it. It just comes back later, usually worse,
Right. In a different
physically
way.
and spiritually. Yeah.
Mhm.
Which
Yep.
is with a deeper root, or built on it, resentment added in, throw in a bunch of other things.
Yep.
So just like physical symptoms, they don't go away. You feel better for a little bit and then they just pile up, and then you have 10 instead of one
Yeah.
that you could have
When
just dealt
you
with right off the bat.
when you suppress. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so seeking I feel really strongly about seeking comfort in life. And it's it's because that's what I've done. So those of us that do everything in our power to make ourselves comfortable, to make our families comfortable. I don't mean good hospitality. I mean like I don't
To avoid hard things?
say that again.
Do you mean maybe to avoid hardship?
Yeah, to avoid, yeah, maybe to avoid
Conflict.
hardship, but also just to um so that you're never suffering, right? Or you're never uncomfortable. So even just simple things like, well, I don't like to ride in a car. I always need to drive. So you better believe I make sure I always drive, right? But how can that hinder my growth? How can it hinder? What if there's a group of people leaving church one day and say, "Come on, jump in the car with." Oh no, I have to control that, right? So just even if it seems little, like you need to be in control so that you can be comfortable. Um, we need to think long term in the future because as things get uncomfortable in
That's
life
good.
and you can't control it, now you've never been, oh, okay, here's an almost like the people who stayed home during COVID, who actually did stay home, you didn't help your immune system at all, right? So
No.
you were staying home, avoiding germs, and you actually hurt your immune system because then you had to go back out and then you had to be exposed to all these things, and now, immune systems are taxed. So just I think avoiding discomfort is not ever a good idea. I'm not saying that we should walk around seeking discomfort, but don't avoid it at all costs.
I mean, I don't think we have to try very hard to find it. It most
Right?
of the time comes
Yeah.
finds you. And it really is. Those are really good examples because what I hear there is it's like a daily small practice. So yeah, driving is not a huge deal, right? But at some point, there's gonna be a bigger deal, whether it's a result of that specific thing or just you're out of practice of surrendering your comfort. So,
Oh,
I am
surrender
thinking of
comfort.
thankful.
Good.
It's just really bringing so many things to mind in my current life being okay, like instead of annoyed by certain things, being thankful that I am in a place of discomfort. So I never have a chance to get too comfortable.
Yeah.
It's- I mean, no, I feel like I don't really. Maybe that's a good thing. I thank
Yep.
God all the time that we're in ministry because I think in my own decision making, I would be apathetic and lazy and I would not seek those things out. And I feel like God knows that about me and has purposefully put me in a position where that is impossible. And I'm thankful. Um, at Wednesday night too at church, we're studying through some lots of things. We're in a marriage group, but one of the things we talked about last week was counting the reward instead of the cost and living a missional life. This is kind of getting a little off topic, but talking about discomfort too, I think we spend a lot of time counting the cost of something, what it costs us, whether that's discomfort or in other ways, instead of counting the reward that is to come in eternity. Or it could be a reward here on earth, but even if all of that reward is in eternity, knowing we've lived a life of obedience and all the discomfort and all the things that come up as a part of that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
We're running for the goal, for the end result, for where we're going somewhere. And so I just thought of another thing in health, in homeopathy. I knew I should have written it down. I lost it.
Yeah.
I knew I should have written it down. I was just about to write it down, but then I was like, no, she's almost finished talking.
And I didn't stop.
Um, oh, I remember. Okay. So, the just thinking about comfort and how we like to, a lot of people, not we, because I think you and I don't do this, but a lot of people like to take a remedy for every single symptom or discomfort. And what I want people to understand and start to go towards is that really, um, I want to say life disruptive, but yeah, I mean, I'm just not going to take a remedy unless it's disrupting life in some way, right? I
Mhm.
can't function because of this
Yeah.
symptom. I can't sleep because of this symptom. I can't, whatever
Well,
it.
I think that is going along with the trying to avoid any discomfort. And I've said this recently. I feel like it's like a mantra, and I just keep saying it that healthy does not mean never symptomatic.
Yeah,
Like it
exactly.
is going to be a part of your life sometimes, and it might just go away. Um,
Right. Let your body work.
Try. Right.
Let your body do its
Yep.
job. Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you're taking a remedy for every single symptom, I mean, you might even be just doing your body a disservice. It's like, here's another example that people have said. When you take a vitamin, let's just say you have a vitamin D deficiency, and you take vitamin D, and this might not be true for this vitamin, but there's some supplement. Oh, melatonin, I think is one. When
Uh-huh.
you take melatonin, your body's like, oh, I don't have to make melatonin anymore because it doesn't have to work. It's like eyeglasses. When I wear the eyeglasses, my eyes don't have to work so hard, so they get weaker. When we don't have to work, we get weaker, right?
Yep. Well,
So
yeah,
let your
and
body
then so
work.
the principles of homeopathy being the lowest dose at the lowest frequency, whatever, and whether we do it exactly that way now in practical homeopathy meshed in with classical may not be we do one dose and wait forever. But the idea is you give just enough stimulation to get your body moving. And then when you get to a certain point, you should back off.
Mhm.
Like let your body practice to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
But when you said the we get weak, that reminded me earlier, I was thinking, and spiritually speaking, it's the Bible talks so much about running a race. And you think of, man, I ran that half marathon last year. And I'm not saying that to brag on here. I hated it. I liked the training. I hated that race. And so just hear me say that. But it's a rate like the discomfort of physically working out. We're okay with that because we know it produces results and we can see them.
Mhm.
Well, some
Yeah.
people are okay with it if you like to do that kind of thing. And but we're not in almost any other area because you can't, I think you just can't see it the same.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, it's not as quick. So,
Exactly. Yeah. So if homeopathy is not working fast, then people give up too quickly and too easily. And then I think that's so unfortunate when people give up too soon. So
yeah.
unfortunate because it works at different speeds for different people. Some people can respond extremely quickly and some people just take longer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And different layers I feel like take longer. At
Yep.
least I'm just saying that I see that. I don't know if that's totally accurate in every case, but this is going to get into next time. We're going to talk about like this is not easy to do. So there are things, and we mentioned it some last time, but next time we're talking about commitment and community and how that having community helps you be successful in this journey. So
So important.
yeah, thanks
Awesome.
guys.
Thank you,
That was a
Bree.
good one. That was so
Fun.
encouraging to me again. Thank you for
Yep.
talking about that with me.
Love it. I love it. So let's do the fan mail.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I have fan mail. This person is from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She says, "Hi, Melissa. Any experience or recommendations for persistent low ferritin? I take beef organs and liver capsules with vitamin C and magnesium glycine. Eat mostly whole and organic foods. Have done a pretty extensive detox, and still my ferritin levels are so low. Thankfully, the iron level is normal now. I'm sorry if you have discussed this and I missed it. Please point me to the podcast. If so, thank you." So, ferritin levels, and she's taken all the things. Um, what do you think, Bree?
Okay, so this is going to be a mix of homeopathy and something else that I've been learning about. My mom has a very similar situation, and I've been walking through this with her. So to me, I see there is an assimilation problem somewhere, like you're not absorbing that. So I think a gut problem.
Yep.
It's not just low iron. So it's not like there's necessarily one protocol. And also, my mom found out she's late onset menopause. Like she has still not gone through menopause. And she has very, very heavy periods. And those, it's a cycle that can cause, sorry, mom, if hopefully you're fine with your business out there. I'm just kidding. She already knows. Um, there that can feed into low ferritin and then vice versa. The low ferritin feeds the heavy period and your hormones may be off. So that's something I would want to know. I would want to know. hormones and cycles. What are those like? But what
Mhm.
do you think? Do you agree there with the like the assimilation of the iron in
Exactly.
the useful iron?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need to do gut health, gut healing, and so, liver remedies.
Hmm.
As always, so supporting the liver with homeopathic remedies, and good diet, and really digging into the gut health. What is it? Why are you not assimilating these nutrients or these minerals or whatever it is that you're struggling with? So yeah, gut health, hormone health, and that's the bulk of what we do with people is gut and hormone health and mental emotional. It seems like
Yeah,
that trio, they really just go together. It's the bulk of what we do. And the gut health affects everything. It's like the tree that goes out and affects everything. So definitely
really.
gut healing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that is an area where I think you could add things that we're not huge supplement people, but
Mhm.
like your meat stock,
Mhm.
colostrum, those are things that I don't want to use the term speed up the process, but can help physically heal your gut alongside remedies that are working to heal your gut on a deeper level.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I hope that helped
Wonderful.
some.
Yeah, I love it. So tune in, every time we do a podcast, we're going to try to remember to read fan mail. And if you want to submit a question and have it read on the show, then just go to the website, which is on Buzzsprout. I said I was going to do this last time. Um, so if you just go to your regular podcast player, let's see, like if you go to iTunes, um, and I know not everybody uses iTunes, but I want to see if it's on iTunes library. Has to update because I haven't been in here in forever. Okay. So if I click on my podcast and I go to the most recent one, Embracing Alternative Paths to Well-Being. Oh, right there. Okay. No, I don't mean iTunes. I mean, what's the podcast? What's the Apple podcast?
Oh, well, I think it's just called podcasts.
iTunes. Is it iTunes? Okay.
Um,
Well, in your podcast player, right there at the top, there text to Melissa and she'll answer it on the next episode. So it just says it right there. Ding. Oh, and I click it. Oops. Oh, look, and then it actually pulls up like you're really gonna text me. So it doesn't come to my phone. Um,
oh, that's so fun.
Not fun. So wherever you listen to this podcast, you can click on the link, and it it'll send that to me. It doesn't actually come to my phone. It goes to the app and then I get a notification and I read it. But so we can read those. So if you have a question, go ahead and submit that. We'll read it on the next one or in a future one. And thanks for listening. Have a great day.